What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Growing Up Hip Hop. This is Season 6, Episode 23. Let's jump right into the episode. So first off, we have Cree. She's meeting up with her dad, Uncle Luke, and basically she just wants to meet up with him and talk about how she blacked out on Sequoia. Now, according to him, that basically runs in their family because he's had multiple times in his life where he has blacked out on somebody during a fight. Now, there's one thing that Cree said that I did not appreciate, and that was the fact that she was like, sometimes people need to get their ass beat because of their mouth. And I'm just like, in that moment, Sequoia said nothing to you that, should have led to you trying to come at her the way you did. You having infertility issues, that has nothing to do with Sequoia, especially since she did not know any of that information privy to the conversation. But let's go ahead and move on. So we next see Brianna showing up to the studio with Sequoia. And I will say Sequoia's song was playing in the background. It was a cute little song. It sounds like the typical R&B vibe that's out right now, super auto-tuned. But you know what? It passes. It's all right. It's cool. So Brianna just wants to get to know Sequoia because she's heard things about Sequoia. She's seen what happened to Sequoia, and now she wants to get to know her for herself, which I appreciate. Now, Brianna did say that, once she heard that she got into it, that Sequoia got into it with Tenise, she was not feeling this girl. Like, who gets into it with Tenise? And Sequoia, to me, took accountability. It was like, you know what? I overreacted to some things that Tenise said, but I would like to move forward and have a conversation with Tenise. Now, when we talk about the whole Cree and Savannah situation, I fell out when she said they were the Gross sisters. I was like, yep, that's pretty accurate, because they're definitely trying to be bullies in that situation. Because when it all boils down to, if she has a problem with the Simmons, what does that have to do with Cree? Specifically Cree. Now, Savannah, you were being messy because you was telling, everybody what was going on. But, again, Cree, you did not have a dog in this fight. You didn't have a dog, a cat, an ant. You had no nothing to be involved in this. So Sequoia, she goes on to explain who she is and what she feels about even Angela in that situation. She says she has no problem with Angela. She would love to, get the chance to talk to Angela. So Brianna is like, okay, well, you know what? You seem like you're level-headed. You seem like you're a cool chick. And I want you to meet TT and Vanessa. So, she wants to bring her around the rest of the girls. I don't mind this. Honestly, I don't even mind Sequoia and Brianna being cool together. They seem like, they would be good friends. In comparison to, we watched Sequoia try to be down and apologize multiple times to Cree and Savannah. That is something that I do not want to see on the series. But let's go ahead and move on. All right, you guys, so now we travel to Vegas so that we can see Sam practice his UFC amateur fighting. And Lil Easy decides to go see him because he has heard that, some things went down with Sam, and he just want to check in on him. So he comes by and is like, what's going on with you? And I just feel like Sam's whole demeanor is him still trying to prove how hard and how gangster he is. So he goes on to tell Lil Easy about how he got into it with these dudes. Come to find out they were security guards. They pulled out their guns. He pulled out his gun as well. According to him, Egypt saw nothing. Even though when Trench just asked her, hey, were there guns involved, she didn't want to say nothing. Yeah, okay, Egypt definitely knew what was going on. And now he's saying that he could be facing up to 15 years in prison. Now, Lil Easy is like, dude, what about Egypt? What about your children? I even forgot that Sam had kids because we've never heard him really mention it, besides the fact when they were bringing up, how Sam basically targeted Egypt and how he was with his baby mama and then left her for Egypt. That's the only reason why we even recall that Sam has kids. But According to Sam, Egypt is good. She's going to be fine. And his kids are going to be good. And I'm just like, sir, your kids will be almost grown if you have to do 15 years in prison. What are you talking about? They're not going to be good. And even Lil Easy had to talk about his experience going to jail for just a year and how he's a very hands-on dad. And for him to, be gone for a year, that was really hard for not only him, but also his children, because his children were used to seeing him every day. Like, honestly, after hearing Lil Easy talk to Sam, it seems like Lil Easy just wants Sam to get his life together. Because at this point, who wants to go to jail? That is not a place anybody wants to see. Especially with the way Sam is, they would eat him alive in prison. But let's go ahead and move on. Alright, y'all, so now we get this scene with Vanessa, and TT. First off, I want to say I do like Vanessa with the bob. It's kind of giving me like a 90s vibe, just because of the way the cut is, but it's cute on her. Also, in this scene, TT was serving early stages of Basketball Wives. I felt like this was season 1, season 2 in Miami Basketball Wives. With that hairstyle and that outfit, I said, no ma'am. But anyways, besides that, they're there hanging with Brianna, and she brought all her essential oils and all her aromatherapy stuff so they can just have like a girls' night in with some self-care, right? All right, cool. Now, am I tripping, or was this the same place where they filmed Vanessa showing all the girls her pastry like clothing line? I feel like there was a scene last season that was shot in this same place. But back to the story at hand. So basically, Brianna is trying to feel them out and see where they are when it comes to Sequoia. For some reason, she thought that both of these ladies may have shown up to the showcase, but no, they were not there either. So none of the 3 ladies here have even really interacted with Sequoia like that. Well, Brianna has recently, but you know what I'm saying. So the only thing that TT knows is that this girl has gotten into it with the Simmons family. As far as Vanessa goes, she knows that she has some type of issue with Angela and that she got into it with Denise. And of course, who gets into it with Denise? So Brianna says, well, you know what? I've met with her. I've talked to her. And honestly, she's not that girl. And I think that you guys will like her. Next thing you know, there's a knock at the door. And who is it? Sequoia. So, Sequoia comes through. I will say that every time Sequoia pops up on a scene, she looks good. Her hair is done. Her makeup's done. Like, her outfit is usually cute. Sequoia is a really cute girl. And honestly, seeing her with TT and Vanessa, I can totally see her hanging out with them. Because y'all know how, like, TT and Vanessa has like this, I don't want to say bougie or uppity, sedity maybe, the sedittiness about them. I feel like she would fit right in with them. But anyways, it was very awkward in the beginning. Super awkward because of course Vanessa is a Simmons. So Sequoia is just like, listen, we can go ahead and have an open conversation, just let me know how you're feeling. And Vanessa is like, well, I have some questions because I've heard things that you don't really like people in my family. So when we talk about Angela, she's like, I don't really have an issue with Angela. Angela dated my baby daddy, but I don't have a problem with her. I don't have an issue with Angela. Unfortunately, Savannah was going around spreading information. I don't even know what has been told to you, but I'm just letting you know now, I don't have a problem with your sister. I would love to have a conversation with her if she, has any questions about it. Boom. Now we move on to the Denise topic. She talks about how, she overreacted. I feel like Sequoia has definitely taken accountability when it comes to this Denise situation. Now, I don't know how soon filming picked up after last season aired or after last season was shot, because I feel like maybe Sequoia saw herself and was like, ooh, I came on kind of strong at the top of this season. For the second half, I want to present a different image. Or if they just continuously filmed and she was just like, had a bad day that day. But nonetheless, she did say that she apologized to JoJo, how she would love to have a conversation with Denise because she does not want an issue with Denise. And I can honestly appreciate that. I feel like Sequoia has definitely learned very quickly how this group works, and she clearly does not want to have any issues. And she has mentioned this multiple times, how their families go way back. Like, in all honesty, it does not make sense for Sequoia to be fighting Savannah when her mom is friends with Faith and Stevie J. Not to mention, I believe that Stevie has produced some Jodeci records. So, like, I feel like she has a more leveled head when it comes to this situation. So after their conversation, Vanessa is like, you know what? You seem really chill. You seem really cool. I will definitely pass the information along to Denise and Angela that you would like to have a conversation with them just so that you can clear the air. Now, if you ask me, who do I think will actually talk to Sequoia? I think that Denise will probably have a conversation with Sequoia. Angela? Probably not, because as we saw on the last, not the last episode, the first episode, baby girl ran, okay? She ran away from a conversation that Cree was having. It didn't even have nothing to do with her. But she don't like drama that much. That's why I think it's so crazy that Cree went so hard for Angela when, girl, Angela would never go hard for you. Ever. She's going to run away from the problem. But nonetheless, I think that Sequoia handled herself very well in this situation. And I did like the fact that Vanessa and TT, they did give her a chance to explain herself. Now, let's go ahead and move on. So now we go all the way to New Jersey, because that is where TT and Sean live. I did not expect for them to live in Jersey, but okay. So basically, her wedding invitations, they arrived, and Sean had like a few complaints about them. According to TT, he didn't really want to be involved in the wedding planning, but now he has had a few things to say. Alright, cool, whatever. Honestly, these little scenes with TT and Sean, I don't really care to see them. The only thing that was cute about this scene was baby Lath. That little boy is so freaking cute. But besides that, the main reason why we're even having this scene is because Tyrann is supposed to be coming over. Y'all, Tyrann came over. Sean goes to the door and is like, oh, we'll meet you around the back because they don't want him to come in the house, right? He goes around back, y'all. Next thing you know, he says he has to pee. They tell him he can go outside. He goes and pees by a tree. I said, oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Y'all could have had this conversation on FaceTime. Y'all could have had this conversation via text. Like, we did not have to do all of this. So he comes back around after he done peed by a tree like a dog. And he has some hand sanitizer with him. I'm just like, yeah, it's still nasty. And they have this conversation about how Tyrann does not want to get vaccinated. He is adamant about it. He says that what did he say? It doesn't align with his spirit or something like that. And basically, even though he has a lot of elderly people in his family, he does not care. He feels like he's going to stand on not getting vaccinated, and that's going to be that. Now, unfortunately for TT, because as we know, TT and Tyrann were raised together. Like, honestly, TT and Tyrann are more of a brother and sister to me than Tyrann and Egypt, because they were raised together. So when it comes to, him attending the wedding, this is like her brother coming to the wedding, not just some old second cousin or something. So he means a lot to her. And she's like, I'm over here telling other people like they have to get vaccinated, but when it comes to you, I'm trying to figure out a way that you can still come to my wedding. So TT then says, well, how about this? How about you show up to wherever they're having the wedding like 4 or 5 days earlier, that you get retested just to make sure that you didn't, have any of the symptoms or anything like that from COVID while you were traveling. And he kind of had a problem with that. And I'm just like, Tyrann, really? Like, your cousin is getting married and y'all are like thick as thieves. Like, y'all are super close. You can't figure out a way to make this work for your cousin? Like, come on, Tyrann. You don't have anything that's going on that's that important that you can't make this work. But we already know Tyrann, he definitely made it to the wedding. But let's go ahead and move on. Alright, so we get to the conversation between Cree and Sequoia. And all I can say is, Cree, what is wrong with you? Because you're still not taking accountability for your actions. So first, Cree starts off talking about how she talked to her dad and how basically he told her, listen, we run in the same circles, you need to fix this. And then she goes on to talk about how, she just kind of blacked out when Sequoia mentioned motherhood. Now, she did not explain any of her infertility issues or anything like that, but you saying that still does not explain why you were triggered into trying to fight this girl. And then she went on to practically defend what Savannah was saying about how Sequoia is the one who brought up her child. And I'm like, no, she never brought up her child. She said that Angela dated her baby's father. That's not bringing up your child. That's bringing up the man. And also, my whole thing is, especially in the confessional, Cree is talking about how Sequoia's mouth is her problem. And I'm like, and you don't see that as the problem for Savannah? You don't see that as the problem for yourself? Wow. And then that's when I really realized that Cree is full of crap. Because she sat up there in Sequoia's face talking about so she didn't hear what Savannah said. But she literally repeated what Savannah said to Sequoia. She literally basically repeated what Savannah said. Because Savannah was like, you need to go home and take care of your child that you don't be taking care of, basically. That's what she said. And then for Cree to come back and circle back to Sequoia, it was like, well, you need to not be mad at Savannah for bringing up your child because you're the one who brought your child up and you made your child your storyline, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, ma'am, you're basically saying the same thing as your homegirl Savannah. You're still throwing her child in her face. How do you think that's going to make the situation any better? So you're a liar, Cree. And then Cree had the nerve to go on and talk about how, I heard that you said that we were jealous of you because you're pretty. And out of nowhere, y'all, this became a colorism issue. And I'm like, how? What are you talking about, like, red-colored girls and light-skinned girls think that they're better than dark-skinned girls? Sweetheart, you're talking to her as if you're talking to, like, Brianna, because Brianna's a little bit lighter. But, like, girl, Sequoia is literally, like, 2 shades lighter than you. What are you talking about? That girl is not saying that y'all are, like, some ugly girls because you're dark-skinned. No, none of that ever came out of her mouth. If anything, she's calling y'all ugly because y'all have ugly energy. Y'all have an ugly spirit about yourself. That's the problem with you. And another thing, she said that y'all were jealous. Like, yeah, if you are coming at me crazy and I've never done anything to you, like specifically to you, what other reason would you be this mad at me? Come on now. Like, I really hate that Cree tried to spin this into a colorism issue. Like, girl, that came out of left field. What are you talking about? And then you have Sequoia. She's just like, she has no issue with Cree. She thought Cree was cool. She thought Cree was pretty, whatever. And then at one point, Cree decides to tell her, sometimes Savannah, she does get on my nerves too, but you just have to look at it and be like, oh, she has some growing up to do. No. Why are you telling Sequoia how to handle Savannah? No. You need to go have that conversation with Savannah. Savannah, you can't be coming at people crazy. Savannah, why'd you try to fight that girl? Considering Cree is older than Savannah and she's supposed to be like her big sister, why aren't you checking your little sister? Because in this moment, it's like she's still trying to like low-key check Sequoia, and I don't like that. Alright, but let's go ahead and move on. So we go to Las Vegas so that we can talk to Peppa, Egypt, and Sam. So Egypt is over there making a drink, and she looks like she doesn't know what she's doing. Peppa looks good this season. She looks better than she has before. And Sam ends up walking up. And this is where we find out, we find out that he has not told Egypt how serious the situation is. Basically, he tells her that his lawyer has told him that he can be serving up to 15 years in prison. Now, she's taken aback, but y'all already know she's young and dumb and I guess in love. So, according to her, she's going to ride for him. She's going to hold him down while he's in jail. You know, she really trying to be ride or die for Sam. So, next thing you know, Pep says, can I actually have a conversation with Sam alone? And Egypt leaves the room. So, we have Sam continuously talking about how he didn't do nothing, basically. And Peppa's whole point is, I've been telling y'all that y'all gotta stop. I've been telling y'all that y'all can't be doing all this stuff. So, my question is, were there other incidents that have happened for Peppa to have been telling y'all that y'all gotta stop? Because I feel like there's some things that are not being said with this situation, especially when it comes to Egypt. Clearly, there have been other incidents or something that has happened to where Egypt and Sam are getting into things that they should not be getting into. I mean, Pep even went on to talk about how, she has already been through this. She's lived this life, where you visited people in jail and all that hood booger type stuff. She ain't trying to go through all that stuff her old age. I get it. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, Sam decided to compare his situation to like Bobby Shmurda, talking about some, there's guys who basically are getting less time for things that they actually did do, but he didn't do anything. And I'm just like, clearly you had to have done something. There's no way anyone's going to make up a story that you got into a brawl with somebody, but it didn't happen. Come on now, Sam. So next thing you know, you guys, Sam actually said something that I was surprised by. He basically told Peppa that, no matter how much time he get, just make sure that Egypt does not focus on him, and for her to continue to, live out her dreams and keep pushing forward and not so much worry about him because he the one who got himself into this sticky situation. Now, I can respect what he's saying. I'm just surprised by it. Considering we already know how Egypt is, she's going to be hung up on Sam. So I'm just surprised that he wanted to tell, Peppa that it's time for Egypt to, push forward. I'm just a little surprised. But that was pretty much the episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it. And go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.